At StudentRoomStay, we want to ensure our host families and international students get the most out of their time together while using our homestay services. Here are 5 tips for a great student exchange experience that will make the homestay better for the host family and the students alike. Make your foreign exchange student feel welcome. When you welcome a family member home after a long absence, there's bound to be plenty of hugging and kissing. You might put up a banner and make a special meal. You might invite extended family and friends to participate in a home celebration, but you wouldn't necessarily do the same when you welcome a complete stranger into your home. So when you decide to open your household up as a homestay provider, you could find yourself at a loss as to how to help them feel comfortable and welcome. The student may be anxious or homesick, and as the head of a host family, it is your job to offer guidance that helps ensure that the students in your home have a wonderful and fulfilling experience. Here are some strategies you may want to employ in the service of making your foreign exchange student feel welcome. A good place to start is setting up a comfortable personal space, like a bedroom for a student that will stay with you and your family. It can be difficult to adjust to a new living situation when you don't know people, and your international student is bound to feel awkward at first. So offering a room that is warm or cool, depending on your climate, comfortable, and inviting is a great way to show them how you care about their welfare and that you respect the privacy in the home. Some students may prefer to bunk with one of your kids, especially if they're about the same age and they just end up getting along, but you shouldn't count on such a thing happening. It's likely that your students will be more comfortable, at least initially, if they have a space to call their own. You might also want to consider providing an affordable means of contacting their family and friends back home. You don't necessarily have to go to the expense of adding a long distance plan to your home line, but you might want to install a wireless router so they can use Skype, FaceTime, or some other video conferencing software on their own devices. This will allow them to stay connected from the comfort of their own room or anywhere else in your home. When you become a host family, it's always a good idea to learn what you can about the customs and cultures of the students staying with you before they arrive. For example, you could try to prepare some food or include some hallmarks of their home country as a way to ease the transition into American culture. You might even want to learn a few common phrases in their native language. If you can find some activities to get them involved and where they can meet people of their own age, you'll find that new friends will help make the process way easier. Your forethought and sensitivity could go a long way towards making international students feel more comfortable and more welcome in your home. Prepare a welcoming bedroom for your foreign exchange student. So we talked about that room in the last section. So here's a few steps to prepare that bedroom appropriately when hosting that foreign exchange student. Do a deep clean. Before you can take in any foreign exchange student, the program that you're involved in will make you go through a rigorous host family screening process to make sure your home and your family are up to the task. This generally includes an inspection of your home by the organization you're joining. So you'll want to prepare your exchange student's intended room by deep cleaning at the very least. This means moving out furniture to shampoo the carpet, adding window treatments, or even wiping down the walls. When this is done, you can repopulate the room with the appropriate furnishings and include a bed, a dresser, and a desk for their homework. A splash of new paint. Most host families don't know early on that they'll end up with a male or a female exchange student, so you don't necessarily want to opt for a gender-specific color theme for their bedroom. Instead, repaint the walls in a warm neutral, like an off-white, a sandy shade, that will provide a blank backdrop for the students to add their own decorations. This will freshen up the room without potentially creating the off-putting feelings of the wrong color choice might elicit. Coordinate linens. Even when you're far from home, there's nothing like beautiful, luxurious linens to help you drift off into dreamland. So instead of skimping here, start with a comfortable mattress and then spring for a nice set of linens that can include matching sheets, a comforter, or pillows. Again, a neutral palette should suit either gender, and your students can always dress it up with colorful pillows or blankets. Add a few accessories. When a foreign exchange student is looking for a host family, they're not only looking for a household situation in a certain city, near a certain school, they'll also want a host family they can get along with and they can provide a comfortable living situation. So you'll want to avoid a room that's too Spartan. Instead, add a few unique accessories like lamps, artwork, a throw rug, mirrors, a pinboard for students to place their own photos. They can always swap out these items if they don't like those down the road, but when they first arrive, they'll feel like they're staying in a really comfortable Montessori. Help them celebrate their holidays and traditions. There are certain annual events that nearly every country around the world celebrates, such as arriving of the new year, although in some countries that date is a different date and depending on the country and culture, but most countries are celebrating a variety of holidays throughout the year that are linked by religion, history, honored persons, and more. Just look at the vast number of holidays celebrated in the US, from Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Memorial Day, President's Day, Independence Day. Those are just a handful. So when you and your loved ones decide to become a host family, it's important to take time to research the international celebrations of your student that they might want to observe. Here are a few simple guidelines to follow. Until you make those final arrangements for hosting, you might not know the nationality of the student you're hosting. Of course, host families do have some say in where their students come from. So if you happen to speak French and German, for example, but if you're not particular about hosting foreign students, you may have very little time to accommodate your student and make them feel comfortable. At the beginning, the best thing you can do is find out if the student comes from a religious family. This will give you an important piece of information to get started. Research your students' holidays and traditions. At that point you're researching, you can start searching for celebrations related to both the student's country of origin and the religion that the student practices. You should know that even within a few religious groups, celebrations can differ by country and region. However, some research should set you straight and give you the clues as to what kinds of dishes to prepare, how homes are decorated, and what activities are common to celebrate in those specific regions. And of course, your student should be able to help you out explaining their customs and sharing that when they arrive. Most students aren't necessarily looking to find a host family that shares all their beliefs, but a little effort can go a long way towards making the international student in your home feel less homesick, especially during times when they would normally celebrate with their own family. Help them avoid culture shock. Jetting off to a foreign country when studying abroad while living with a host family is bound to be an adventure of a lifetime, and it's made much easier if the student finds a host family that can show them the ropes and keep them from making dangerous blunders. Even with all the preparation, a student may still experience culture shock associated with being in a strange land. So you may want to take steps to help those students prepare and ease their transition. Learn to avoid miscommunication with your foreign exchange student. There's a lot to love about opening up your home and your life to a foreign student. When you and your loved ones decide to host a student, you have the opportunity to share your own culture, your lifestyle, your locale with these teens and young adults in need of guidance and care as they explore the world. But the lives of your family members will also receive enrichment, and you have the chance to learn more about a foreign culture directly from the source. That said, there's definitely challenges associated with hosting foreign exchange students, namely the language barrier. Even when everyone involved is trying to understand, it's possible and most likely that there will be a miscommunication at some time. There are several steps we can take to avoid these snafus, and here's some tips to help steer clear of communication issues with your foreign exchange student. The host family selection process. Many international students already speak at least some English, especially if they're planning to travel to America with a study abroad program. So if no one in your household speaks a second language, you don't need to count your family out as a potential host for the foreign exchange student. And most foreign exchange students are seeking full immersion experience, so they almost certainly prefer to speak English as much as possible in order to master the language during their time away from home. Of course, you can almost certainly make your international students feel more comfortable by taking time to learn a few sentences, a few phrases, such as traditional greetings and pleasantries in their own language. This could go a long way towards making everyone feel a little more comfortable. Solutions to miscommunications. Still, miscommunications are bound to occur. Even if everyone is technically speaking the same language, it happens all the time with us here in America. The best thing you can do to avoid serious issues is to make it clear to your students that they can always ask you to explain words or phrases that you don't understand. If they seem to take offense at things and say that you are offended by these things, you can talk through these misunderstandings and laugh them off like they didn't even happen. Relationships are a learning process at best of times, and language barriers can exacerbate that problem. But with an open-minded and forgiving attitude, everyone can learn and grow from each other. You should also take strides to understand the cultural norms with your international students are familiar with. Some miscommunications can be related to cultural differences rather than a language barrier, or students may come from a family situation that is either stricter or more permissive than your household. For example, your student may have qualms about off-color language, even if it particularly doesn't bother you. Try to be understanding and explain your position on such matters. When everyone acts in a respectful manner and remains calm in such situations, it is a lot easier to avoid or correct a miscommunication with your homestay student. This is where the Student Room Stay concierge can really help the host family out by providing 24/7 support to work out any miscommunication issues with your host student. Through our local coordinators, we can help smooth out any miscommunication issues, improving communication between the host family and the student, and even provide mediation if necessary. With Student Room Stay Concierge, you'll never be on your own. The best host families exemplify these traits: hospitality, patience, and a commitment to the student's well-being and success. They have an honest desire to make the student part of the family to the best of their ability, and they are involved and aware of what's going on with the student, both academically and in their personal lives. They take advantage of opportunities to create memories, bond through shared experiences. They are flexible and patient, recognize that things won't always be smooth sailing, but they are willing to preserve through miscommunications. They are willing to get out of their comfort zones and are open to learning new ways of doing things from a different cultural perspective. And of course, they want to provide the best environment for their host student. Whether you are a new host family or a well-established family, we hope these tips can help elevate your skills in hosted accommodations. At Student Room Stay, we are the better way to stay for international students. And if you want to become a part of an incredible network of certified host families, sign up today. Click the link in the description to learn more about making income from hosting a foreign exchange student, or reach out to find more information or apply to be a host family at studentroomstay.com/apply. Thanks for watching and happy hosting.